We are here. It's time for camp talk. Get in here. We got a call-in show, and it's time to go through this thing. Let's get it, man. Let's go. Time to go. And if you're lucky, I want to hear about your Memorial Day as well. Let's go. What's going on? What's going on? It's your boy, the coach. Welcome back to the Coach's Huddle, where the field meets family. And it's been a while, but we got another call-in show, guys. We're coming up on camp. T-minus, what are we looking at? Less than 20 days before camp starts. And I just want to hear what you guys have to talk about. Right now, I just slid in here after a really good Memorial Day. I'm sure all of the players are either relaxing or getting ready to put in the last finishing touches for camp. But really, the link is in the chat. I want you guys to call in. Guys can come in and just give me, how your holiday went, what your expectations are. Just some headlines that I went through that I've seen as of late that are pretty interesting. Ed McCaffrey, the father of Christian McCaffrey, gave a report recently that Christian is training less this summer to stay ready for the 2025 NFL season. That's a great news. It's something that we've been talking about all year. So look, man, this one isn't going to be long. I want to enjoy my 3-day weekend too. So I want you guys to come in. We're going to talk. If we go to an hour, great. If we don't, it is what it is, but we just taking in some callers right now. I got JLP, and we'll just move along as the callers come. All right, man. Let's go. My guy.
How's it going, Coach?
Doing good, man. Doing good. How you doing?
Good, man. Good. How was your fourth?
Great. Shoot. Did a lot of cookouts and running around. Got some much needed rest, got to sleep in. So feeling good.
Hell yeah. Nice.
How was yours, bro?
Well, it was all right. I worked. It is
Mhm.
it's
Yeah.
life.
Yeah.
What are you thinking about training camp coming up?
I'm excited. I think that us getting ready for training camp, we gotta I feel like we have a really good mix. We got a good mix of veteran guys versus rookies. I'm excited to see how, like, for me, the major seven, for me, as far as being veterans that are going to carry us through the season. I've got about 7 guys, between Brock Purdy, CMC, Trent Williams, George Kittle, Fred Warner, Nick Bosa, Brandon Ayuk, Deommodore Lenoir. I mean, these guys, they're the nuclear reactors to our battleship, so to speak. Like, we need those guys. I'm really going to be paying attention to really how everything works with that core 7 and then working it down. I think as Manhattan John just poetically enumerated into the chat, the only negative right now that I see as well, and I agree with this, is Alfred Collins holding out. I don't know.
I was going to ask you about that.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with this. What's really worrisome about this as well is that I don't even know if he's healthy.
And apparently it's like 2 out of the 32 that was drafted in the second round have not signed yet. So it makes me think it's more contract than anything.
Yeah, it's definitely contract. Do you hear static and feedback?
Yeah.
All right, hold on. See if I can turn this down. How about now? Do you still hear static?
Yeah,
All right. Uh, all right. How about now? Do you still hear static?
a little bit.
Yeah, I hear it when you're talking as well. Um, we're gonna see what we can do about this, but I got no clue why the static is here right now. It's something going on. There's a new audio feature with StreamYard. StreamYard's always doing something brand new. I think it just went out. I think it just went away. But yeah, I definitely did hear that, Steve-O, the the static, but I don't hear it anymore. Do you still hear it, JLP?
I hear it a little bit. Yeah,
I see. I hear it when you talk.
I'm hearing
All
it
right,
when you.
it's very weird. Steve says collar sounds fine. All right, but anyway, so yeah, I don't understand why Alfred Collins. I don't understand why Alfred Collins is holding out. Um, you know, I don't know if it's stipulations as far as like I don't know if it's the infrastructure of the contract or the money itself. The money should be pretty simple, should be pretty straightforward, especially at his draft position. So that's pretty locked in. But I have absolutely no idea why he's not signed. And on top of it, um, furthermore, I don't even understand if it's I don't necessarily understand if it's something that he can help, right? Maybe it's something that is completely
It is
out of his control.
from what I'm hearing. It's basically these guys are wanting to get their money guaranteed, and the teams are trying to not do that with these guys
Mm-hmm.
being as their second round picks, and I get it, but at the same time, I mean, you're going to need that, and you know the thing is, he played through injuries in college and stuff, so I don't think it's an injury related issue.
Yeah, I don't think. Well, I
I
don't
could
know
be wrong.
because
I don't know.
yeah, that's true. I mean, the only thing that really kind of just throws me off is, if he's going to be ready for camp. It's the same. It's kind of like what we dealt with last off season, but just now. I'm okay with everything as long as he doesn't miss camp, as long as he doesn't miss days. So, right now, essentially, we're looking at 20 days, to see what's going to happen from this. Now, anything can happen, but I'm not going to necessarily be worried about that until he starts missing work, basically.
I got one for you though. What about a camp battle with Michael Williams getting to go against Trent Williams? You think
Yeah, Michael
that
Williams versus Trent Williams is going to be a really good one too. Hold on, let me see if I can get this together. Yeah, Michael Williams versus Trent Williams is going to be really good too. That's going to be something that I'm going to be looking forward to. I mentioned it on the last. I mentioned it on the last show that I did. Is that I miss hearing about the Trent Williams versus Nick Bosa one on ones, iron and sharpening iron. Just having that type of element on our team. You don't really hear a lot of that anymore. So it's going to be interesting to see exactly where Michael Williams stacks up. How do you feel about the defense? I mean, yeah, defense coming in, the secondary.
I'm wanting to see how they're going to do before we make rash decisions. I know there's a lot of guys out there, a lot of talkers out there. Oh, go sign this guy, trade for this guy, do this, do that. Let's wait and see what we got first, and then
Hmm.
hey, maybe we need to make a move. But let's wait and see until we know what we need. You don't even know what we need yet, you know?
Right. Exactly.
Hell, that up the stout dude's looking pretty good. So he might end up being a ball.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I think Upton Stout's going to start. Actually, what do you think,
I'm hoping.
man? Hey, man. Well, look. I know you're excited, man. So thank you so much for calling in. I don't know what is going on with this audio. This crackling back and forth is
I
like
don't
really
know.
killing me.
I'm hearing it
Um,
too.
Yeah, and it's just like every time I come, dude, I'm done with StreamYard. I will not be doing StreamYard by the time the season starts. I'm over it. It's like every time I come in here, it's something, man. All right. So we'll talk, man. But hey, thanks for calling in, GLP. I'll get to you, brother.
Yes, sir.
All right, man.
Peace.
Peace. All right. So before I get Chunder Boy up, let's kind of work out on this staticky stuff. It says I'm over here with I'm the Rice Krispies kid, snack, crackle, and pop. So we got to see exactly how this audio is playing out. Right now. Well, I mean, everybody can hear me. Automatically adjust mic volume. Turn that off. All right. So is there still crackling? Talk to me, asshole. All right. Let me just bring you up. What's up, bro? How you doing?
What's up, buddy?
Man,
Happy
Fourth,
nation's
bro.
birthday day.
Yeah. Happy 4th. I get it. Anyway, I'm just frustrated over this audio.
I know
stuff.
you are,
it's
buddy.
like, it's
written all over your face, but I can see it.
It is really. I'm being mature about it. We're just gonna forge ahead. So, talk to me. I know you have a lot. What's going on with Kemp? How do you feel?
So real quick, I heard you talking about the Alfred Collins thing. I think what's going on with all the second round picks, I think it's a lot of the teams are kind of playing chicken with each other. Like nobody wants to capitulate because as soon as one team capitulates and gives a guaranteed contract, then all the other teams are going to have to fall in line because otherwise it's just going to be mayhem. So I think they're all kind of playing chicken with each other, which is why it's dragging on so long. I don't think it'll be an issue. At some point, a second round pick he'll sign a deal that's not fully guaranteed, and then everything else will start to fall like dominoes.
Okay.
We saw something similar to this a few years ago.
So you don't think there's anything wrong with the Alfred Collins signing being held up? You see this is all smoke?
Well, there's potentially an issue. There's no way to know. To me, it seems more likely that the teams are playing chicken with each other, and as soon as what's up? You good?
Oh no, I'm listening. I'm listening to it.
Gotcha.
Through the phone. I hear it now.
Okay.
Yeah. Go ahead.
So it seems to me it's more likely that the teams are playing chicken with each other, and as soon as one of the second round picks that are not like the guy picked, at the end of the second round, but one of like the first 10 picks in the second round, when one of them signs a deal that's not fully guaranteed or doesn't have huge guarantees, I think it'll start to just domino effect through the rest of and once the guys at the front of that round start to sign, the guys at the back of I think there's a few that have already signed that are not like the top 10 guys. But I don't think right now, if we get a week out and we're still in the same situation, now that's kind of probably looking like this might drag on. Which, as you said, as long as he doesn't miss time, who cares? It's just contract stuff.
That's exactly how I feel. Just this isn't good for business, but you can't follow every narrative. Like you just you will run out of energy. That's what I found out last year. Like I'm not posting on literally every piece of news that happens with the Niners. I can't. It's impossible. And if you do, what happens is that you build this muscle where in order to just push yourself through, you start like mailing it in and you don't care about necessarily what you're talking about because it's like I can't really process what is going on right now because this isn't going to last but for so long because the next thing needs to happen, right?
Mm-hmm.
And for me, I don't know, man. It just doing the content creation or even being a fan, that shit sucks. Like constantly caring about every element of piece of news that happens with the team. Because to be honest with you, everything that happens with the team really isn't noteworthy nor newsworthy. It's really not. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. I also think that you kind of lose authenticity too when you start to try to cover every detail because some of this stuff is just it's either not in your wheelhouse or it's something you just don't care about. And so when your platform starts to just be too widespread, it kind of loses some authenticity, I think, too. I've seen plenty of guys that try to cover everything, and it's like, okay, but I don't actually know what you think about the team because you literally cover everything in every direction and talk out of both sides. I hate it.
Yeah, it's like there's nothing that you won't talk about.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's nothing you won't say. When you look at it that way, it just kind of puts you in a bag, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. It's gonna be interesting trying to navigate that this season, to be quite frank. Being able to pick and choose what I mean, honestly, for me, it's not gonna be hard because I'm gonna just talk about like what I think football is football worthy. Like, okay, this matters about the team. This matters about what's going on. But I'm trying my best to stay out of narrative world. Like I'm really trying my best. Like that's going to be really my side of things. Guys, for those of you that are listening, hold on, just as an aside, for those of you who are listening, thank you so much for letting me know about this microphone. I found out about this literally going live. So, yeah, this was not in my ears. As a matter of fact, it's not in my ears now. It's in, and I'm wired in. I don't have wireless buds. This bud is to my phone. But I don't hear it in my voice. I only hear it when you speak. But what's crazy is that I don't hear it when you speak online. So I don't know. I'm literally about to let you like take a take. You know what? Tell me about your camp battles. I'm bouncing and I'm gonna come back. Run my channel for like 5 minutes.
Okay,
I'm bouncing
buddy.
and coming back.
So
Go ahead, do your thing.
What's really important about the camp that we have coming up is we have to see if the young guys are going to be ready to hold down the force. We are expecting the defensive line has got a bunch of young guys. We've got young linebackers. We have young secondary players, and I think that we need to see fairly early if these guys are going to be ready to go. Somebody like Upton Stout stepping into the nickel so Diamador can play outside is going to have a huge impact on whether or not our secondary can hold up. You're also going to have guys on the front line, is CJ West and Alfred Collins. If those guys can't hold the point, our run defense is going to be just as bad as it was last year. It doesn't matter who the linebackers are. And the same thing goes on the other end. Christian McCaffrey obviously is going to be the focal point of the offense as he should be, but is Garendo going to take a leap in year 2? Are either of the new running backs going to give Garendo a run as the number 2 back? That's also really important because every year we seem to have 5 running backs start at some point in the season. So seeing that number 2 running back spot and see that competition play out is going to be big for me. I'm also really excited to see some of the young receivers. I think Jordan Watkins is really going to push the other young wide receivers for playing time. I think there's a real chance that we'll see some like the number 3, number 4 spot with BA being out. There's going to be real competition for the third wide receiver on the field at the beginning of the season. So that's going to be really exciting to see if any of those guys can emerge. As far as the camp battles go, one thing I'm really excited to see is how Huff plays into the mix in the defensive line, especially at pass rush, of course, primarily because what Huff gives the 49ers this season and gives their defense is, so before we got Huff, we have Mykel Williams probably starting outside and then probably still kicking inside to rush. And you don't really have any depth outside of Nick Bosa on the edge. And on top of that, you're just losing depth in all sorts of places. Whereas when you bring somebody like Huff in and now he's your pass rusher coming off the edge, you're kind of giving a red shirt year almost to Mykel Williams where he doesn't have to be the guy out of the gate. So now with Mykel Williams being a depth piece as opposed to a guy that has to play 90% of the snaps, it totally alters the way that you play football. It changes the rotations for the defensive line. It changes the way that we can attack offenses and offensive lines. So the thing I'm most excited to see is how they're going to utilize Huff, because I think there's a chance he could be a game changer opposite of Nick Bosa.
Okay, so you're really excited about the Huff acquisition. Can you
The
hear the
potential
static
of
in
it.
my?
The potential of it, yeah.
Okay, what kind of? Now this is my only thing is that is he going to be spot? Is he going to be a spot? Is he going to be used in spots as a package guy, or is he really going to be on the field?
I think he'll be the primary edge defender. And Mykel Williams, I think that the 49ers were prepared to play Mykel Williams a ton of snaps, but that wasn't ideal. I think that they much rather have him be a rotational guy in year one, and then year two, year three. I think there's a chance that they see him as a replacement to Nick Bosa, actually, 2 or 3 years from now. You move off of Nick Bosa when he's 28 or 29 and move to a younger group. I think that their ideal world is Mykel Williams plays rotationally at the beginning of the season and eventually emerges and takes the job from somebody else. And Huff maybe at that point becomes just a situational pass rusher, and he can come in and also because he is a good run defender as well, but he's not as good of a run defender as Mykel Williams. So even if Mykel Williams starts, I still think that Huff will get more percentage of snaps at edge, especially early in the season.
Okay.
And I think that's really important for our rotation. I think that we get run down. So many times last year, how many games did we lose in the fourth quarter? We couldn't stop anybody. People running the ball down our throats late in the game. And I think having the proper depth to rotate guys is going to go a long way to being better defense in the fourth quarter.
What did you say on my channel?
When?
About
I've been
Nick
on here a few
Bosa?
times. What's that?
What did you say while I was gone?
I said that I just said it when you were here, that I think Mykel Williams might replace Nick Bosa in 2 or 3 years. When Nick Bosa's 29, you can still get something for him. If he doesn't produce at high levels, 15, 18 sacks, why would you not go? If the rookie can get you 10 or 12 and Nick Bosa's only giving you 14, why wouldn't you trade him for multiple firsts and move on?
You think a guy like Nick Bosa is going to get multiple firsts? You know what? I got some. How old is Nick now? 27?
26, I think. I think it'll be 27 when the season starts, though. I'm not sure when his birthday is.
I'll make a take for you.
Okay.
I think that Nick Bosa is going to be more akin to what his brother is in the open market now than what you think he's going to be if the Niners choose to move on from him.
I think we would move on next season. If he goes out and puts up 14 sacks this year and has the same pressure rate he's been having, he'll be worth multiple firsts. He'll be a 27-year-old pass rusher with a DPOY. His brother never had a DPOY. His brother was not really ever considered the best player in the league at his position, and Bosa has been that. If he comes out and has a good year this year, he'll still have a ton of value. There's a lot of teams still looking for a premier pass rusher.
Is this a prove-it year for Nick Bosa?
I think it is.
Is this a prove-it year for him to stay in the upper echelon of like a top 3 edge rusher in the league?
I think so.
I think so too. Is there anybody else? Like, let's say, I mean, I don't think for George, even in a bad season last year, George had a great season, to be real with you. I do feel like it's not being talked about enough that I feel like Nick Bosa is one more mediocre season away from that really not being a viable your entire scenario.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
well, even if you don't get multiple firsts, you can't pay a guy 30 whatever million a year to get 10 sacks when you have a rookie that gets 9. You can't pay a guy who gets 13 sacks when you have a rookie that gets 11. So if Mykel Williams comes out and plays well this year and has 8 or 9 sacks as a rookie, and Nick Bosa has 13 and has a good pressure rate, why would you not move him in the offseason, even if all you get is a first and a couple of picks? Maybe you don't get multiple firsts, but you still move on. Now you have 2 first-round picks next year because you moved Bosa. And now you have a ton of flexibility to continue to build the youth of your roster, and you get something out of him while you can, because it doesn't make any sense for this team if you have good young pass rushers to pay 30, whatever, what's he making, 32 or 35 or whatever he makes. paying that to a guy who's not a top 5 guy anymore.
I mean, it sounds good in theory.
In theory, yeah, totally.
I just,
you might be right. We might not be able to get that for him. You might be totally right.
I just think, these guys know when to ramp it up to get paid and get their money. And
he might, yeah.
You saw the comment that I just put up by Manhattan John, which is so true. How when Nick hits his contract year, watch him nail 18 sacks to be the talk of the town.
Of course.
Like, these guys sandbag. I get it. I don't know, man. The Nick Bosa contract is not going to look good if he doesn't produce this year.
Correct.
So, look, I think that, they want Nick to be, how many years has Nick been here now? You drafted him in 19.
I think he's going into his 7th year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, look, man, they want Nick to be like one of those 10-year guys. I just don't think they're going to move off of him, to be honest. You know what I'm saying?
I think one of the things that works in your favor as far on them not moving him is how much cap space they've cleared. They're going to roll over at least 20 or 25 million in the next year, and the cap's going to go up. So his contract, as far as the cap number goes, is not a deterrent whatsoever.
Right.
Him getting moved is not going to be based on his cap number.
Dude, I'm going to tell you something, man. We're looking so good from a cap standpoint. It's going to be outrageous next year. The only thing that's really going to kill us next year is that we got to go get an offensive line from scratch because everybody's going to be either gone in the middle of a contract year. I got news for you right now. I don't think we're signing Colton McKivitz.
I don't think we will.
You don't think so either?
I think he's going to get probably what we just saw Moore get from the Chiefs. Somebody's probably going to pay him $12, $14 million on a 2 or 3 year deal.
You think really?
Yeah. It's hard to find. He is an average right tackle in the NFL. He's probably even above average if you just go look at the numbers. And that's hard to find on the market. So if people can secure their right tackle spot for 2 or 3 years for 12 or 14 million a year, they'll do that in a heartbeat. There's a lot of teams out there that operate that way.
Yeah. Hey, look, man, I don't know, bro. I don't think we're going to be in the run in to draft him. I mean, to keep him. I think we're going to get priced out the game with him.
Totally agree.
Right now the biggest thing for me is just safety. Got to see exactly what. This is disgusting, but it's the truth.
Who's better, McKivitz or McGlinchey in his last season with us? McKivitz has played better than what McGlinchey played in his last year, and McGlinchey got 23 years ago.
You know what's crazy too that I've been hearing? I've been hearing that Colton McKivitz is freaking going off this summer. I've heard that I've heard that he's put on a lot of muscle. Like he's like really gearing up to get paid this year. That's what I've been hearing. But I'm expecting to see a lot
of
about
Niners
Colton
can just pay him. His only real issue that I have is he can't move anybody. He's a technically sound good zone scheme tackle. He gets bullied on a bull rush and he can't move anybody.
He's got weak shoulders too.
Yeah, but if he puts on 20 pounds of muscle and he's more stout, why wouldn't you pay him whatever the market is? If you can get him for 18 instead of watching him leave for 20, maybe you have to do it. Who are you going to replace him with?
Yeah.
Take a swing in the draft?
And you know what's even crazier is it ain't like we ain't got the money.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? Like it ain't like we don't got it.
And I think he's the kind of player that you wouldn't have to pay a ton of guaranteed money to. So as far as the owners are concerned, it's not a ton of cash out of pocket up front.
Hold on.
They're not going and putting $60 million into an escrow account because he's getting 60 guaranteed. It's not going to be like that.
Well, hold on. Let's look at something real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on. Go ahead.
What's it? The contract would be something like 3 years, 60 million, and it'd be like 22 guaranteed or something like that. It wouldn't be 40 guaranteed. So the 49ers front office would not have to put a ton of money out of pocket to keep him.
All right, so I'm looking at the top paid right tackles in the league right now, right? So hold on.
Mm-hmm.
Load this up.
$20 million probably puts him at like 6 or 7.
20 million. Nah, 20 million to put him at 5.
Okay, so if he gets
He'd be
18, where does
tied.
that put him? I can't read that.
I'm sorry, blind. You
It's
blind
all
bat.
good.
All right. 18. It would tie him. He'd be tied for. Hold on. He'd be tied for 6. No, 7th.
Okay.
Nope. Nope. 18, 8, 5, 8, 6. So that's. Dude. He'd be tied for 8th.
So essentially, if he gets anything over like 16 or 17, that's the league saying that he's a top 10 right tackle.
Hold on. If he gets paid anything from 17 and up, he's a top 10 right tackle in the league.
And we just saw Jalen Moore get at left tackle get 14. So seeing McKivitz get 16 or 17 at right tackle, I don't on the open market. I don't know.
So
I don't know
what
that
did
there's 10 tackles that were better
Jalen
than
Moore
him
got,
last
right?
year. I think so.
Yeah, he got 2 for 30.
14 or 15, yeah.
So he got 15. That's not bad. That puts him at, hold on.
Is this all tackles or just left and right?
Left tackles.
Specific?
Left tackles. Hold on. $16th. Dead set middle.
So
I'm not mad at
I
that.
think that's the range he's going to be in at McKivitz is going to be in the range of 15 to 18 if we can keep him at that. If he goes over 18, I don't think they should pay him because I don't think he's a top 10 tackle.
Mm-hmm.
So that would kind of be how I would look at that. If you can get him to stay in-house on a 3-year 45, 3-year 48, something like that, then you absolutely have to do it.
Look at this. What's this soccer mom all on my. What the hell is this? They killing me with all these ads now. They getting a little wild. Talking about I'm 70. But get out of here, lady. Anyway, go ahead. That threw me off. I'm like, what is this white lady doing on here?
Yeah, I think we're going to continue to see the same type of narrative when it comes to offensive lines. I know you've been saying it for at least 3 years now that I think people just don't understand that college football is not producing high-level offensive linemen at the rate they used to, and it's really hard to find high-level offensive linemen. There's a reason there's only 3 or 4 teams in the league that actually have a legitimately really good offensive line. You have 4 teams that are awesome, and then team 4 to team 20, there's not a whole lot of separation.
Yeah, offensive line has kind of been tailored out in certain teams. They have it, but it's not necessarily something that they hang their hat on. I will tell you, man, you start looking at the teams that are up there, it just bothers me how we watch the Rams get a whole offensive line together. You know what I'm saying? Hey, Jared, no, it is not. I know how metadata works. Hey. So look, this is what I'm in cybersecurity, brother. I know exactly how metadata works. Every time you get that friend that's like, man, I get all these porn sites that keep hitting me up on Twitter. It's like, you're telling on yourself. Like, man, who the hell keeps? Nah, you're telling on yourself. My metadata is clean. All right. She talking about IRAs. So I know how y'all get down. Don't try to play me like Coach's algorithm started telling them. That is not facts. I just realized I was like, what's Miss McCaffrey doing on my screen? Like, this is a little wild. But anyway, go ahead, bro.
No, I just think that I think the 49ers I don't think they're going to lose a Super Bowl because, well, I can't say that because we already lost Super Bowl once because of the offensive line.
Right.
I don't think the offensive line is going to prevent us from being competitive.
Mm-hmm.
I really want the 49ers to upgrade their offensive line. I hope that they use all this cap space they have next year to go buy an offensive line. I don't think they will. I think that philosophically, not only does Kyle, but also their offensive line coach, they both have the same philosophy. You spend money on the people who carry or catch the ball. You don't spend money on the guys up front. You do that with scheme. It's their job to make the scheme work and make those offensive linemen work.
No white lady.
And
I'm sorry. That was really getting on my nerves. Go ahead. My bad.
No,
I didn't mean to step on your tape. Go ahead.
Not at all. I think that I think it's a mistake that's going to bite them in the ass in the long run. When you play that kind of approach will win you a lot of games in a regular season. When you get into the playoffs and you have to play 3 teams in a row with a good defensive line, that offensive line philosophy is going to cost you a game. And it only has to cost you one to cost you a ring.
Hey, we try to be serious, and the chat is really making it hard. You know, you need to blame the chat. They stepping on all of your great takes right now.
It's all good.
You know what I'm saying? Because they unscrupulous, gutter-minded jackals in the chat. Gotta watch out for these sailors. Ridiculous. Go ahead, Chunder boy.
Hey now. You're looking at a sailor, okay?
Come on, man. Yeah. All you guys walking around from port to port. We know how you guys get down.
That's a fact. That's a real thing. That happens. Anyway, so defensively, how much time did you spend on Alfred Collins and CJ West after the draft going back? Because statistically speaking, they're 2 of the best run defenders in football and in college football last year. CJ West was arguably the best run defending interior defensive tackle in college football last year. You had some issues, I think, with Alfred Collins, where he had some technique stuff, but because he's so big and strong, he was a good run defender. And I think you were concerned that wasn't going to translate to the NFL. Have you looked into that more? And what are your thoughts on what our run defense was the Achilles heel last year. It's my biggest concern going into this season is if we short up the run defense.
Well, okay. I'm glad you brought that up. Now, it's not that I didn't like Alfred Collins as a player. I didn't like Alfred Collins for us.
Gotcha.
So I saw worth. But for me, I look at just certain things from an offensive line coach perspective, things that I know that I would be coaching my players on to watch out for, right? A guy that I wouldn't want my guys to block against, right?
Okay.
A guy that keeps a flat back. A guy that shoots, that comes out of his stance. He's got a really mean get off, violent. I mean, CJ West.
Yeah.
Quite frankly. You know what I mean? Like just a mean, nasty, violent, quick motor, not long enough. I mean, not short enough to overpower him, but just long enough to be right at sweet chin music level. He's always going to have his screws under your screws. And he's just a nasty guy that you're going to have to root him out of his gap every down. For Alfred Collins, I saw that, but there were just some certain things that I didn't see. Number one was the first step. I didn't think that he necessarily had a quick first step.
Okay.
2, just off what he was being asked to do at Texas, I didn't think that he'd be able to pull it off here, which is at Texas, he was two-gapping. Like, he was really just trying to keep linebackers clean. He was there to take on double teams, like really be a force in the trenches. For us, I saw that one of the reasons why we one of the things that kind of like threw me off is that we don't two-gap here. We necessarily, like, if you look at it, Eric Armstead was picked over DeForest Buckner because Eric Armstead could get penetration. He could one gap. He was still big and long enough to be a presence. But essentially, they opted for a bigger defensive tackle that could go get the quarterback. That's what was the story. why we let Buck go. And then we go and we sign a guy that is the antithesis of that, right? I don't necessarily see Alfred Collins' game. He doesn't really play behind the line of scrimmage, right? A lot of what he does is he takes on blocks. He's trying to stuff. He's trying to free up linebackers to flow over top and actually make a tackle. But I don't necessarily see him as a force contributor himself. Now, when we picked Eric Armstead over DeForest Buckner, I kind of threw that in my thought process of like, okay, this is what they want. They obviously moved on from Buck because Buck is more of what Alfred Collins is, right? Like Buck was more of a two gap. I'm going to be the rock, the wall. You're not going to move me. You know what I'm saying? Anybody that comes in my gap, I'm stopping. I'm taking on backside gaps, all of that. And I'm just going to be a force. I'm going to be an enforcer, right? Not an assassin. And I just think that Alfred Collins had more of an enforcer type of play style where he was there to really hold the line for the linebackers to get their job done. But he wasn't actually, just kind of like a one-man wrecking crew unto himself, like CJ West is. CJ West he's a one-man band. You know what I mean? Like, he's going to give you pass rush. He's going to give you penetration. He's going to give you gap. He's going to stop the gap. And he's going to two gap if you need him to. Right? And on top of that, CJ West, when you get him in the open field, he's going to chase you down. He's still going to extend the play. I didn't see a lot of what I saw with Alfred Collins was kind of in a box. Now, what really did shock me is his numbers. Alfred Collins being sub 540, 5 flat 40, running a 4.8, 4.9. Like, that really shocked me. But I got to be honest, I haven't seen that on the field. Like, if I had to gauge what his numbers were, I would not have said he was a 4.9 guy. He doesn't play like a 4.9 guy. CJ West plays like a 4.9, 4.8 guy. So that's why I wasn't necessarily just bullish on Alfred Collins like right out the gate.
Chris Kaczmarek seemed to intimate that, I don't know if I used that word correctly. He seemed to indicate that when Collins was at Texas, he wasn't asked to do anything except for exactly what you're talking about, which is be a two gap, stand up, hold the point. He was not asked to make plays. He was asked to be exactly what you're saying he was. And he kind of indicated that that's not what 49ers want for him. They want him to actually use that size and athleticism to get penetration and to move, be able to move with the line and things like that. Do you think that could unlock some of what Alfred Collins does do well?
Well, one thing about Alfred Collins is that when you're 6'6", 330 plus, from a coach's standpoint, all of that is amazing. But the number one thing that undergirds size is mobility, right? And athleticism, right? So there's no sense of having you big as a house if you move like a house.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it don't work. So I'm worried about his lower extremity issues with him being ready to go. We'll see what that is. And then also, if we're being fair, Alfred Collins has played, I've been saying this a long time, ever since we got him. But if you look at his football career, he's played the most football in the last 2 years in his entire career. He barely played at Texas. He didn't get a lot of love when he first started on. He rightfully so. He played behind NFL caliber talent.
Yep.
Right. Then he finally gets his shot. He's a late bloomer, but he gets on and gets like a full slate of games and playing time. But then he plays the entire season. Then he gets out of the season. This is the most. Now, come on now. Now we're talking about this man just played a season of football. He ain't played more football. The last time he played this much football, his senior year, or his last year at Texas, rather, was his senior year of high school.
Yeah.
Think about it. That's the last time
so
he
you're
played.
Concerned if his body will hold up because of his body's just not prepared to play that much football? And
then
now he's got to go play a
through
17-game season. maybe
There
more,
we
hopefully.
go. See what I'm
Okay.
saying? So then we go. You got my man here. He's playing the most football he's ever played since his senior year of high school. Then he goes and he works out for the hardest interview that he's ever had for 2-3 months in the combine to be in shape for all of that shit. Then he goes through all of the offseason stuff, and we got to have him ready for the whole season. And we think that he's going to play and just be, the Rock of Gibraltar in consistency. What comes to mind is, remember Kentavious Street?
Mm-hmm.
That's what comes to mind when I think about Alfred Collins, is how long it took us to get Kentavious Street never really did get out the blocks for us.
Nope.
You know what I mean? And if you think about it, Javon Kinlaw too, right? There you go. Like Javon Kinlaw, I'm seeing it in the chat now. Javon Kinlaw is somebody else that comes to mind. So look, I know that in theory, Alfred Collins is supposed to be an enforcer for us, right? But I would love to just see him on the field. And we got to see what he can give us. And again, he's not on his own. We got Evan Anderson is still here. We got guys on.
I love Evan Anderson.
I think Evan Anderson's going to take a step. I'm excited
too.
for it. There's two guys that I think are really being slept
Khalil
on.
Davis.
Sam Aquanu and
okay.
Evan Anderson. People be sleeping on Sam. Sam is nice.
Yeah.
Sam was one of the few bright spots in camp last year, if we keep it tall. Yeah, so look, I don't know what's going to happen with
I love the edge depth now after we added Huff. That's why, to get back to that, that's why I liked Huff so much, is now it's not Mykel Williams and Aquanu and basically nothing behind them. Now we actually have a fourth guy, and now we have true depth and rotation at the edge position. If guys like Evan Anderson and Khalil Davis is a guy I really like, he's had health problems and hasn't been able to be on the field consistently, but he's shown real signs when he has gotten healthy and played. If he can put together a healthy season, the depth at interior tackle also gets very good. And all of a sudden, we've got an 8-man front that can rotate and stay fresh. And now Nick Bosa can take over a game in the fourth quarter like he did in the Super Bowl runs.
All right, so I don't know. I don't know about the depth, man, to be real with you. You know what I'm saying? I don't know about our edge. So I just talked about Sam Aquanu.
Yep.
We got Bryce Huff. We have Mykel Williams. And then this Nick Bosa. And then after that, it's a bunch of guys, man.
Well, yeah, clearly we have to stay healthy. But if you have those four guys rotating in, I think that's pretty. I don't think there's very many teams that have that much talent rotating in on the edge.
Well, really, if we keep 5 of them, I'd be happy.
Yeah. So
really
who would be
6.
the fifth, do you think?
The fifth is Yetur Gross-Matos.
So I think they're going to keep 5 and 5 because both Yetur Gross-Matos and Mykel Williams are going to rush from the interior on obvious passing downs.
All right, so here it is. Nick, obviously. Mykel Williams, obviously. Bryce Huff, for sure. Sam Aquanu, for sure. So those are our 4.
Those are the lock. Yep.
Those are all locks. What we have left is Yetur Gross-Matos, Robert Bill Jr., Teron Jackson, and Jonathan Garvin.
I think it's between Jackson and Yetur Gross-Matos.
Teron Jackson and Yetur Gross-Matos.
I think the camp battle is going to be which one of those guys makes it. And the other guy will hopefully be on practice squad.
I think Yetur Gross-Matos might get let go.
He might. He's got the bigger contract.
Yeah.
If it's even between those two, they'll waive Yetur, and hopefully they can add him as one of the veterans on the practice squad that can be elevated week to week.
I'm trying to figure out what we're paying him. What's he making right now?
I think we signed him for like 9 or something. No, that was Collins and Floyd both got like 10. But I think he's getting like, I don't know, 6 or 7. I'd have to look.
Here we go. So Yetur Gross-Matos, 2025. He's making $9.4 million.
Yeah.
Jesus.
So he might get beat out by Jackson as that fifth guy. Just if no other, he's going to have to beat out Jackson clearly, or they'll cut him for cap casualty. And then they'll re-sign him to the practice squad as one of the veterans that can be brought up week to week.
Hold on, let's see if he gets cut post
if he
June
resigns
1.
for it.
Yeah, we saved $4 million by cutting his ass.
Is that post or pre? I can't read it.
That's cut post June 1.
Okay. Yeah.
So we saved $4 million.
Yeah.
By letting him go. Yeah, man, this is crazy.
Now look at the depth on the defensive tackle.
All right, so let's see.
You usually keep 10, right? Total defensive line.
Uh-huh.
So we've got 5 at edge. Our defensive tackles would be CJ West, Alfred Collins, Evan Anderson,
Sebastian Valdez, Kevin Givens, Jordan Elliott, and Khalil Davis.
Yeah, it'd be Khalil Davis and Kevin Givens, because they love Kevin Givens. They love Kevin Givens.
You think I don't understand the infatuation with Khalil Davis. Khalil can't stay healthy.
Maybe, but I just think that he's cheap and he's going to be your fifth guy. And I think Jordan Elliott costs us some money, and I think they may move on from him.
Jordan, I'm hearing Jordan Elliott's got the green light this year, though. They're telling Jordan, they're taking like a lot of responsibility off Jordan Elliott.
So what would it be then? It'd be what? CJ West, Alfred Collins, Evan Anderson, Jordan Elliott, and then who's the fifth guy?
The fifth guy will be between Sebastian Valdez and Khalil Davis.
Or no, it'd probably be Kevin Givens. They like Givens.
I don't know. Evan Anderson's definitely going to make it. So is CJ West. So is Alfred Collins.
Yep.
So is Jordan Elliott. That's 4.
Okay. So the fifth guy is it's probably Givens, right?
I'm going Sebastian Valdez, dog.
You think so? You think okay? I think that that's definitely going to be a camp battle. That'll be one in camp. I think that's a spot that any one of those guys could step up and win.
Yeah.
But I just think if Khalil Davis stays healthy for this training camp, they're going to give him a shot.
Hey, man, let me throw Terradome up here now, too. What's up, Terradome?
Hey,
what's up, buddy?
Yeah, you on, bro. We might as well just do it, man. Look, hey, man. Hey, come on, baby. Casa, baby. Come on, man.
What's going on? Hey, Chunder boy, how you doing, man?
How you doing, Terradome?
Happy 4th to y'all, man. Y'all chopping it up real good. I was on 49ers Web Zone, and I saw Mr. Grant Cohen do some journalism.
Hold on. Talk to me.
He 6 hours ago put an interview with Eric Armstead how Brock Purdy changed the 49ers.
Nigga, I seen that too. Hold on, I can't even say that on YouTube. I seen that shit too. Hold on, dog. I'm so glad you brought that up. I seen that shit too. I was like, hold up.
Hold y'all clip it up. Y'all heard
Clip that shit, yes. I seen that shit too, dog. Go ahead. Do your thing. Go do your thing. That shit was crazy.
Bruh. I had to retweet it and say Grant Cohen with some journalism, a clutch to pearls. Amen. He giving Brock Purdy some shine, some credit, oh my Lord. Oh, this is a beautiful day, y'all.
Hold on. So the article was written by Grant and it's on 49ers Web Zone?
It is on 49ers Web Zone. I want to direct everyone's attention to it. Amen. Grant Cohen, that guy, the guy that coach now with Grant Cohen is just giving you the uncut raw of Eric Armstead saying, hey, it was a huge difference when Brock Purdy stepped on the scene versus Jimmy G.
You know what stuck out to me when he said that?
Go ahead, bro.
What stuck out to me in his comments is that he said that the biggest thing that the receivers recognized was before Brock, if they weren't a part of the progression, they didn't even expect the ball. They didn't even run their routes hard. Yeah. They didn't think at all that they would even get the ball. But with Brock, it's equal opportunity. You know what I'm saying? And you know what else? Like, it's just be the little stuff that opens a window to this shit.
Come on, sir.
What else told me that as well is that there was a part of the offense that Kyle couldn't control.
Really?
So you think about it. Eric Armstead kind of let a cat out the bag with him saying, well, if they're not a part of a certain progression, then they're not going to get the ball. They know they're not getting the ball, which almost all but confirms that Kyle telegraphs plays. Now, remember years ago, we would say, oh, man, remember there was like reports that Kyle tells Jimmy where to throw the ball? Yes. Like who to throw the ball to?
You throw to him.
Yes.
This is where this ball goes in this creation because I created it. I know where all the holes are. I am the czar of openness, if you will. Harry Potter playing Quidditch.
Yes. Hey, hold on real quick. What's the title of this article? Because I want to share this article.
I am pulling it up right now. It says, Eric Armstead explains how Brock Purdy changed the 49ers offense. It is on www.49ersweb.com.
49ers Web Zone or 49ersweb.com?
49erswebzone.com. I'm sorry, 49erswebzone.com.
Okay.
Trying to slow my excitement down. Thank you, Grant Cohen. You did some,
you giving him a W, bro. It's cold. It's cold.
I really don't, care for how he does what he does, but it's some journalistic integrity here. Grant Cohn. Hey man, you did it.
There's no E, Terradome. There's no E.
There's no E. Cone. The Cone.
All right.
Zone.
Hold on. I gotta find this article.
It is the second one after Dominic Pooney is the 49ers' most promising building block. It is on Around the Web to your right under some really nice t-shirts.
There it is. Yes, it is.
You can.
It's an SI. All right. Okay. So for context, I have it. Let's get into this beautiful bean footage. Hold on.
Please.
Hold on. So I found it.
I'm like one of Diddy's lawyers. Amen.
You crazy, boy. Oh man, you crazy. Hold on. All right. So let's go ahead. Come on, Grant. Let's get into it, Grant. All right. Yes, Eric Armstead explains how Brock Purdy changed the 49ers offense. Let's get into it.
Okay.
So Brock Purdy's critics insist that he's a system quarterback, a player who's propped up by the 49ers scheme and offensive weapons, sort of like Jimmy Garoppolo. Brock Purdy's critics insist, but Purdy clearly is better than Garoppolo ever was. Let's talk about it. This is for the people that be saying, Grant, don't give it up, bro. But Purdy clearly is better than Garoppolo ever was. So much better that the offense changed when Purdy became the starting quarterback. Former 49ers defensive tackle Eric Armstead recently went on Fox Sports 1 and explained the transformation. This is Eric speaking. The major difference how Brock changed our team was receivers felt like they could get the ball on any play, Armstead said. It switched from, okay, I'm out of the progression, I'm just doing a runoff route, to, hey, I better run my best route regardless of the play because Purdy may throw it to me. And
Stop right there. This is like Kojic. You know I'm on that.
Yeah. I'm just reading for you. I'm reading for you right now.
You know how it works. I'm
reading for you.
Church of God in Christ. It said that
Preach,
They felt
Daredom.
like it was simply one off and you just ran off. But when Brock Purdy came up on the scene, things changed. Continue, brother.
Yes, sir. So, reading from the book of Grant Cohn, chapter Purdy, verse 9,
Amen.
Eric Armstead says, and switched from okay, I'm out of the progression, to I'm just doing a runoff route, to hey, I better run my best route regardless of the play because Purdy may just throw it to me and feel like.
Stop right there. Stop right there. Stop.
Yes, sir.
Purdy
Yes, sir.
just may throw it to me. It gives diversity. It gives the openness of field. It
Yes, sir.
gives everything that a defense, from a defensive mind, a linebacker, a college linebacker, and a coordinator and a coach. I am telling you, it is more dangerous when I have somebody who can look all around, read, progress, deliver with precision, make good decisions, and come with incision to cut your defense up. Continue to read, brother.
And feel like I'm better than the DB covering me and give me opportunity. And the receivers love that. He continues. And you could see how our offense took off that year. Of course, Christian McCaffrey was a big part of that.
Yes.
In that running game. But Purdy's ability to open up the offense and make uncharacteristic off-schedule plays.
Stop right there. Stop right there.
Yes, sir.
Everybody who was saying it's all about CMC, I am not going to deny the greatness, the tenacity, the temerity, the unmitigated gall of TMC.
Yes, sir.
Of CMC. He's great. He is wonderful. But that man said, opened up.
Right.
The offense. Those are the words that are printed. You can erase it, but it is there. Opened it up. I statistically told y'all it is something different about this young man. A lot of y'all get caught up on, well, he ain't Trey Lance, he ain't black. No duh. But you have to look beyond the skin color. It's all about the spirit of a man. You know,
tell him, say it's not. Look at your neighbor and say it's not in the skin, it's in the wind. Look at your neighbor and say it's not in the skin, it's in the wind.
Look at your neighbor and say, all skin folk ain't your kinfolk.
All skin folk ain't your kinfolk.
A good quarterback is a good quarterback, whether he black, white, Chinese, Puerto Rican, Asian, Hispanic, gay, straight. I see productivity, and that's all I care about. And maybe it's just that Terradome in his 55 years on her, and I'm trying to do it with a joie de vivre, a joie d'affaire, 55 years on this earth, who has been through numerous operations with special operations, numerous college football games, numerous high school football games, just binding all types of folks together, including the faithful. Whether you black, white, Chinese, Asian, Puerto Rican, Spanish, whatever, wherever you come from, we got one common goal. And I'm going to isolate, I'm going to fixate, I'm going to focus on being down with those people who want the common goal. I don't get caught up on the skin color. I'm about the spirit of a man. And you can get my book, Terradome, Get This in Your Spirit, available Amazon. Continue to read, my brother.
And really open up the offense to if he felt like Ayuk was maybe a little covered, but he just felt like Ayuk was better than the guy, he was going to throw him the ball. And we hadn't had that in previous years.
You hadn't had that
That's
Mm.
critical.
in previous years. That's all I'm saying, y'all. I knew it was something different. I could see the coaching staff. I could see the other players. I could see the productivity in the numbers. I know it's something different about this kid than it was about Jimmy Garoppolo. When Jimmy Garoppolo was out there, we were biting our nails. Oh, Lord Jesus, I hope. Is we going to make it? Is we going to? With Brock Purdy, I'm like, hey, that young man, I see what's going
All
on.
right, so let's close out. Let's close this out. You
Close
guys
it
have
on.
basically carried the show. Let's close this out. Over under on Brock bouncing back from the season that he had last year. All right. Are we giving Brock 2023 numbers? Or where do you see Brock? Give me context, give me numbers, however you want to quantify it. Chunder Boy, you go. Terradome, you close us out.
Copy that.
I think he'll. Clearly, I think what we've seen in the last 2 seasons is his ceiling and his floor. It doesn't mean that he can't have better numbers than he had in 2023, but I don't think he'll necessarily play better, even if his numbers are better. And I also don't think that we're going to see any. Last year was literally everything that could go wrong did go wrong. Nobody's open. I mean, he had a game last year where he went 22 of 30 with 6 drops. So at the end of the day, the quarterback can only do so much. What this article is very clear about is that Brock Purdy doesn't just follow the offense. He is not just doing the script that Kyle gives him. If he sees an opportunity, he's going to take it regardless of what the play says he's supposed to do. Now, he got himself in trouble a little bit last year doing that too much. But young quarterbacks, that was his second full season. Young quarterbacks sometimes have to learn how to not do too much by doing a little too much. And so I think what we're going to see is a more conservative Brock Purdy who's going to get back to playing within structure, but still will take advantage of the holes the defense gives him. The reason that Christian McCaffrey was never an offensive player of the year in Carolina, even though he had seasons where he put up great numbers, is because he didn't have a quarterback that exposed defenses for hyper fixating on Christian McCaffrey. Brock Purdy exposes the holes in defenses when they hyper fixate on Christian McCaffrey. And that's what opens up the offense in a way that Garoppolo or even back to Hoyer or any of those guys, none of those guys have opened up Kyle Shanahan's offense because they haven't taken advantage of the defenses when they're exposed by hyper fixating.
Hey, man.
Thunder Boy. That's awesome.
Close us out, Terradome.
Out of
What do
the
you think he's gonna do?
Out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks.
Mm.
A man is as he is. Money doesn't change you. It makes you more of what you already are. At $873,000 a year, Brock Purdy was a guy prepared, a guy ready, a guy that's going to give you everything he's got and influence and encourage his knowledge, his talents, his gifts, his treasures on what is given to him. Brock Purdy will go 25 touchdowns, probably 11 interceptions, 4,000 yards. That's who he is. That's what it does. And it will be some of the best and most efficient 25, 11, and 4,000 that they are. That's what he do. That's what I've seen. That's what I know. Given a healthy season, I'm talking about the health of some of these receivers and our best offensive line, Brock Purdy is going to give you what he got. He won't number 124 yards away from 4,000 this year, and he went 20 and 12, I think. And everybody was out. And people was out for different stuff. Ayuk torn ACL, unhappy triad. Christian McCaffrey got his bag, went to Germany, and I don't know. I think he had Oktoberfest there. Debo Samuel was out here eating all the bratwurst that Christian McCaffrey had. And Trent Williams, man, tragedy struck the San Francisco 49ers. Who you know in 1 year losing babies like that? If you don't have
that was just, you know,
It
once
happened to
that
multiple
happened,
players.
yeah,
I've
that's
never
what he's
seen
saying
anything
though.
like it.
That's what he's saying.
You know, tragedy.
Once all of that rolled out, it was beyond football.
like,
I'm like, all
Lord.
right, bro. Like, what are we gonna do? Like, I don't even care about winning anymore. Like, this is crazy.
And still, this man rolls out 3,800 plus yards, 15 games. He got banged up a little bit. Brindle turned around and looking. He had the best seat in the house. Brindle, you owe us for them tickets. You had the best seat in the house. I mean, I call a spade a spade. Coach is going to try to be nice to you. I'm telling you, Brindle, look, you're the center of the San Francisco 49ers. You are it. You are the catcher on the field. You are the anchor and the caller of everything. If you getting beat and turning around and looking at Brock and dang, I sure hope Purdy can help me. Or dang, oh, you took that shot. Brenda, it's a problem. I'm not going to say you trash and throw you away, although others do. I'm just going to say get it together. Know who you are. Know whose you are. And lead this group of Lions. We got the talent in the building. We can do what we got. We got the schedule laid out. We got players that play. Stay healthy. Get on the field. And be the San Francisco 49ers. Stop playing around with this thing. Let's go 11-6. That's what I got.
Hey, man. Uplifted hands. We're going to have benediction. All right. May the spirit of the Lord be with you now, henceforth, and forevermore. Let the church say amen.
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 Stay low and keep your feet moving.